As the Patriots get ready for Super Bowl 53, don't think they don't have the 2019 season in mind. I'm Alex Barth. He is Evan Lazar. This is the Foxboro Report, brought to you by 1-in-100. If you want a chance to go to Atlanta, see the Patriots take on the Rams in Super Bowl 53, 1-in-100 has your chance. Check out 1in100.co for their Super Bowl ticket raffle today. Again, that's 1in100.co. Check that out before the opportunities are gone. Evan, the report's coming out today. The Patriots looking at the replacement for Brian Flores. Not technically the replacement, because Flores never was the defensive coordinator.
Just
but
somebody to take on some play calling duties, probably.
The report today that Greg Schiano, former coach of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, more recently defensive coordinator at Ohio State, is being considered
and
for
Rutgers. Don't forget
high,
Rutgers.
Of course, Rutgers around here. You got to say Rutgers.
This is why he's getting this job.
Is being considered for a high-level defensive position, whether that's coordinator or the equivalent of whatever Flores was this year. You know, so be it. Thoughts?
Well, I think that we know the connection, right? It's a Rutgers connection.
And not just Rutgers. It's Rutgers. I believe he was there when the McCourties were there.
He was there when the McCourties were there. He was there when Duron Harmon was there. He was there when Logan Ryan was there. There's a long list of Patriots players.
He was there when Steve Belichick was there.
So what the Patriots like about Schiano is his developmental skills, right? Obviously, that's kind of what the draft is all about. So they get guys that can, already fit into their system, that work hard, that have that whole Patriot way type thing down already, from what Schiano demanded out of the players at Rutgers. From everything that I've heard out of Schiano, he demands a lot out of his players, which is going to fit in pretty well around here. My question really is he calling plays or not? That's kind of really where this all boils down to. They need a new play caller. Is Belichick going to just call plays next year until somebody kind of steps up into that role, or are they going to hand the reins over to Schiano? Now, obviously, there's also an Urban Meyer Ohio State connection. Belichick obviously predates that with Schiano, but to have him go to Urban Meyer at Ohio State in between Rutgers and Tampa Bay, it kind of explains that maybe that whole coaching circle is a fan of Greg Schiano.
I don't know, maybe I'm a little more pessimistic about it, but...
listen, I don't think that I don't know what Greg Schiano brings to the table necessarily.
The guy has very little NFL success. I mean, 11-21 in Tampa Bay, and you look at, he was involved in one of the ugliest coaching hire processes last year at Tennessee. Remember, the school rioted because they didn't want him as the head coach of their football team.
That was more just because I think it was more of the same at Tennessee. Like, they just saw him as
they'll
kind of
tell
the
you
same
it was because of the Penn State, his connection to Penn State, which, no, it wasn't. They didn't want him because they didn't think he was a good football coach. That's why they didn't want him there. He was okay at Rutgers. Sure, he developed some NFL talent, but really only guys that came to the Patriots.
Well, he really made that Rutgers program legit, though. That program had no business being legit.
How are they doing now?
Yeah, well, he's gone now.
Did it have staying power? I don't know. I think the Patriots could do better than Greg Schiano. I don't necessarily think that Greg Schiano can do better than the Patriots, if that makes sense.
Right. I think that the biggest thing is that, and there's a lot of reports out there this year about how Belichick has been very hands-on with the defensive side of the ball, kind of helping Flores along in this kind of, de facto defensive coordinator role. He's been sitting in on meetings. The whole amoeba defense and all the schemes that they're running up front are mostly Belichick schemes. This isn't really something that they're going to come in and install a whole new defense. It's still going to be the same defense. I think the biggest thing from talking to the players about the difference between Brian Flores and Matt Patricia last year is just that when you have somebody else calling the plays, the sequence of plays is just different. It's just a different person calling the plays, a different person with the play sheet. So the question is Greg Schiano going to put the sequence together as good as Brian Flores did? Well,
let me ask you this, one more question before we wrap it up here. If you remember this time last year, Greg Schiano was as good as in New England, and then all of a sudden he just dissipated out of nowhere. He was gone. Let's say that is the case again. Are there any other names to keep an eye on?
Well, I think the in-house candidate is Brandon Daly, the defensive line coach, who's done a really good job. Josh Boyer, obviously the cornerbacks and defensive backs coach, is going to get some buzz too.
How about externally?
Externally, I think it's tough to kind of, say that anybody besides Schiano has the inside track right now on it externally. I think the Patriots would have liked to promote somebody internally, ideally. I just don't know if they think that Daly or Boyer is ready. And I think that 5 to 10 years from now, maybe even less than that, maybe it's only 3 years from now, we could be having this conversation about Steve Belichick, but I just don't think we're there yet.
All right, what do you think of the Patriots opening at defensive coordinator and of Greg Schiano? Let us know down below in the comments. This has been the Foxboro Report, brought to you by 1-in-100. Super Bowl tickets still on the table at 1in100.co. Check that out today. For Evan Lazar, I'm Alex Barth from Gillette Stadium. Thanks for watching.